right, since Monday after the meeting at the high school with the Webster County Commissioners, they've released a statement. It says the Webster County Commission would like to offer the public an update of the actions taken since the public meeting held on Monday, May 11th. The Commission has contacted a number of federal and state regulatory agencies to ensure procedures are being followed and to educate themselves further about the potential impacts stemming from the current project on Rifle Range Road. Representatives of federal elected officials have also been contacted for assistance. In addition, the Commission has also contacted other counties to learn of their experiences. For example, they plan to travel to McDonald County on Monday, May 18th, to see a data center there. Furthermore, the Commission is exploring the possibility of retaining outside litigation counsel to research the legality of adopting a moratorium on future data center development projects in the unincorporated areas of Webster County. The legal basis for the moratorium being considered could be the authority that might exist to control noise pollution under Section 49.950, subsection 3, dealing with nuisance abatement. The Commission does not intend to attend or participate in either of the town hall political rallies scheduled by candidates for the state office on May 19th in Marshfield or May 27th in Fordland. The Commission will continue to conduct business during their regular hours on Monday and Tuesday mornings and will dedicate specific times for public comment on the subject during those times. Factual public information that we receive along the way will be shared as we receive it. Now, that's about as much as anybody could have hoped for because really they don't have any jurisdiction. They're all of these rural counties in this vicinity, they don't have codes. They don't have a planning and zoning commission. So they really don't have any oversight on what anybody does with their property. And that's what people need to get through their heads. This isn't anything they saw ahead of time and then passed or rubber stamped. They didn't know anything about it. They don't have to know because people don't have to go through them to do whatever they want to do with their property. And this is the case. Now, the fact that they are going to go and check out another site over, it's near Joplin, it's south of Joplin. Let's take a look at that real quick. Now, this was the only thing I was able to find on a data center in McDonald County, and this is from November of last year, so it's only been what 6 months or so. So I'm not sure. If anybody knows, please let me know. Real quick, I'd like to read one of the comments somebody posted named Josh Dunn because he's right. He says, these people in these comment sections are wild. They have literally done more than they are required to do. They've had meetings and allowed public to voice their concerns. They've reached out to the state and Fed to make sure that everything is being done correctly. They have arranged travel to other counties to put eyes on the type of center being built there. They're exploring legal basis for the moratorium to be considered. They're trying to educate themselves on the situation. He says you want them to step in and illegally stop construction on a project in which no one has broken any laws. If they do that, the lawsuit that the taxpayers will burden is unfathomable. I don't know about that, but maybe. You have the right to voice your opinion open and freely. You have the right to protest. He says, go stand in the sun, do something other than use data centers on your phone to complain. That's the irony of it all. Every comment you type, every click you like, it all processes through a data center. It actually processes through the hyperscale data center that you should be concerned about. Webster County, thank you for taking steps to educate yourselves on any and all options for the project and future projects. I have to echo that last sentiment too because he's right. They don't have to do any of this, and it could just be It could just be something to placate the public. Who knows? But they know people are watching them, so we'll find out. Now, I said in my last video that if there's going to be any remedy, it's going to come from the state. And let's go over and see what the DNR has to say about it. And they've got a page called Data Centers. And of course, they show one of these huge data centers. I don't know where that's at, but that's big. It says hyperscale data centers are large facilities. They can be 10,000 square feet or larger, sometimes housing over 5,000 servers and designed primarily for AI and cloud computing. These operations require significant power, often more than 30 megawatts, land from 10 to more than 100 acres, and water varying widely in energy source and cooling methods. Due to this high variability, any project that triggers a review by the Missouri Department of Natural Resources is evaluated on a case-by-case basis. But they go on to say the Missouri Department of Natural Resources does not regulate data centers specifically. The department implements and enforces state statutes and rules regulating activities that may impact air, water, and soil. The department does not have a definition of data center. It'd be time to look at defining that. Local communities and local governments are typically aware of proposed data centers before the department. Data centers are not required to notify the department until they apply for a permit. Now, that's ambiguous because apply to who? Because clearly, if you don't have a permit process in the county that they're being built, then there's not going to be a permit. So then it says the department only becomes aware of proposed data centers if they submit a permit application later in the development process. So you can see where this is going. They're just washing their hands of any li- they're washing their hands of any responsibility, it seems like to me, and nobody can get a hold of them. This is interesting though. It says governor's executive order. In January 2026, Governor Kehoe signed Executive Order 26-02 to align state research and workforce assets with President Trump's initiative to establish a coordinated national effort for AI accelerated innovation. So right away we could see that the state's aligning itself with AI accelerated innovation. It says, as part of this executive order, the Missouri Department of National Resources was directed to initiate an investigation and review of energy regulations and infrastructure planning in light of the growing demand for power from data center processing, from data centers supporting AI. While the department is working to fulfill this task, the department has compiled the following information to help questions that citizens and businesses may have on the department's role with data centers. And you can go over there and check this out. So now let's check out Kehoe's signing statement. All right, let's read some of this nonsense. Whereas artificial intelligence represents a transformative technological advancement with the potential to significantly enhance the efficiency, effectiveness, and quality of public services provided to the citizens of Missouri. Sounds like AI wrote the damn thing. The state of Missouri is committed to embracing innovations to expedite government work, streamline processes, and to deliver a better product to its constituents through the employment of AI tools and systems utilizing the best data. Now, let's look at it. Expedite government work, streamline processes. Now, A, try to do anything with the state now where there's actually people there working to a certain degree. Now, what's going to happen when they implement AI and all those people who actually have jobs there? aren't there anymore. You think processes will be streamlined? Do you think products to the constituents are going to improve? Come on. Whereas the development and deployment of AI systems must be guided by principles that safeguard the fundamental values and interests of Missourians, including data privacy, effective data quality management, human oversight, ethical consideration, and transparency. Well, I mean, we wouldn't be having this battle if any of this was actually true, because the only privacy that's uh, in effect is the privacy of the people who are trying to build these things, in the dark of night. Here's one of the best ones. Whereas fostering a competitive and sensible business environment is critical to attracting and retaining AI-focused companies, thereby creating high-wage jobs and stimulating economic growth. How are you going to create high-wage jobs when AI is designed so you don't have to have people involved? That's just, it's a contradiction. This project over in Marshfield is supposedly going to hire, they say, maybe 5 people at max. And that's not going to be any kind of a high-end white-collar job. That's just going to be probably maintenance folks at best. What ticks me off the most is when they try to bring in, uh, temporary construction jobs and call those high-paying jobs, because if a construction company is local, they don't go hire more people. They just go do the job, and that's the end of it. Those people already have jobs. On the face of it, that's just nonsense. To me, the construction of the building has absolutely zero to do with any jobs created. When people think about jobs created, they mean in the future, not the people who already work construction that are employed now. Now, here's the one thing we ought to really pay attention to more than anything else. Whereas on November 24th, 2025, President Donald Trump signed the executive order, quote, launching the Genesis mission, unquote, establishing a coordinated national effort to unleash AI accelerated innovation through the American Science and Security Platform. And it is in the best interest of Missouri to align state research and workforce assets with this historic national initiative to secure technological and energy dominance. Okay. Now things start getting pretty weird once you go down this rabbit hole a little deeper. Now this is called launching the Genesis mission. Now look at the language they use. This order launches the Genesis mission as a dedicated, coordinated national effort to unleash a new age of AI accelerated innovation and discovery that can solve the most challenging problems of this century. All right, is it on a leash now? I mean, why these biblical references? But anyway, we're already in an energy crisis, and the more AI that you put into the mix, the more energy that is needed. So, is the energy going to go to these data centers, or and be taken away from the folks? I mean, when you've got an energy crunch, when you've got a grid that's already at times overly stressed, and your initiative is based on something that requires much more energy and resources, these things are a contradiction. Obviously, this isn't meant to have any kind of semblance of reality. When you read further down into the statement, it just reads like it's a blueprint for putting people out of work. None of this makes any sense. Here's the bottom line. In Marshfield, that construction project is ongoing. And the developer whose construction project it is, he has a financial incentive to do it. He's going to get paid. He doesn't live in Marshfield. He doesn't even live near Marshfield. The power company has an incentive to let the project go because they're going to get paid for the power they provide. And they've signed a non-disclosure agreement for some reason. So this is what the people who are there asking questions want to know. What's the benefit to the county? If this thing's going to create a lot of noise, use a lot of power, use up a lot of resources, and drain the aquifer, it's just a detriment to the county. There's no upside for anyone who lives near these places. There's none. It just, can you imagine your property values if one of these things comes into near you? Who's going to move into a place like that? Nobody. Plus, the people who already live there like it the way that it is. They want to live in a rural environment. So, this is a tough one.